What's up, party people? Hello, friends. Welcome to my channel. I'm so happy you're here with me. I'm Tamara, and today we're going to be talking about the ENFJ being a gritty type. Now, if you look at my playlist, you'll see that I call the ESTJ the grittiest type. And I think that ENFJs are also a gritty type. It's a different type of grit, but nevertheless, or we function differently in our grit lane, as we could say it. And so, what is grit? How is that defined? It's kind of a newish term, and it's the courage and resolve or strength of character. It's also looked at as a positive trait that an individual has perseverance of effort combined with the passion for a particular long-term goal or end state. And yes, ENFJs definitely know how to close the deal. They know how to complete things. They know how to make things happen. So in that sense, they have grit. And I think ENFJs sometimes don't understand the capacity of their depth and their reach and their ability. It goes far and wide. And I think one of the positive things about ENFJs is that ENFJs can be pushed. They are open, even if they're not feeling it on the inside, because they have an agreeableness about them. Other people can push them to the next level, whether they want to be pushed or not. They will take on that challenge, whether they want to take it on or not, because they tend to be people pleasers and they tend to want to execute and also do a good job. And so you may, when you're in your early 20s, or let's say you're in high school, you may think your capacity is only so far. And then a few years later, you get into the work world and you're pushed to a length that you didn't think was possible. Then a few years later, you're pushed to another level and you feel like I can't do any more. Like I have been pushed so far and challenged so much and had so many things, whether it's good things, bad things, breakups and relationships, challenges in friendships or family or the workplace. You have all of these things and you feel like you have reached your limit. And then you find out that there's another limit and another limit and another limit. You can go a lot further than what you think you can. At the same time, because of the way ENFJs are built, many ENFJs are also empaths, which means that you will feel like your emotional box is overflowing. It is above capacity. And so you do have to be careful with that, and you do have to do self-care, and you have to figure out, how can I trade this for that? How can I let go of that so that I can do this? You have to do some trade-offs because you can push yourself too hard at times, or just feel like, okay, I'm falling apart. You have to protect your psyche because ENFJs can be fragile in the sense that they have so much depth for caring for people. Also, their intuition is very deep and can go far below the surface. And that's a lot of work. So ENFJs are not just straightforward people. There's a whole bunch of layers going on there. And so I say ENFJs are super gritty because sometimes you can have some things that are going wrong in life that are just not going the way that you dreamed, the way that you wanted them to go. You could be feeling bad. You could be going through a health thing. And then on top of that, you are knocking things out of the box. Like you're still doing like your side hustles, you're projects that you do in your personal times, your work. You're doing all of these things that you never thought you could accomplish. You're doing multiple things at the same time and becoming successful at all of them and just shocking yourself. I think the twist with an ENFJ is just because you're gritty doesn't mean that you're doing things that you want to do. It doesn't mean that you found your purpose. It doesn't mean that you are enjoying what you're doing. And I think that could be the frustrating thing. Like, you could be really good at something, you could be very impressive, you could, do things in ways that other people find difficult to do and execute and make things happen. But at the same time, you could be miserable in your grit. So grit doesn't mean that you're happy. Grit doesn't mean that you have the perfect job or the perfect relationship. You could be in a relationship and you're like, what in the world is going on here? And you find yourself scrambling and trying different things and trying different angles and layers and figuring things out. The good thing about grit, even when it is going against the grain of what we want to be doing, you have to take a look at yourself and say, even though you may be doing some things that you don't want to do, always ask yourself, what did I learn from it? How have I grown? ENFJs have introverted intuition. And so it's like this dictionary, right? And so you're adding to that dictionary with every experience, whether you're dealing with difficult people or fun-loving, easy people. When things are going perfectly well, you probably aren't being challenged. We could probably be the type of people that if it's too easy, like when I was in high school, if I just had a little homework to do, I might wait until the last minute to do that, even though that's not typically my style. And yet when I would have a lot of homework to do, it's like I would just like tackle it all in such a more intense way. You have to look at what you've learned. Have you become a better friend? Have you been able to put some new things into your intuitive dictionary? Because that's kind of how intuition works. It's really building on experiences. So, for example, now it's almost like I'm more assertive in ways that it's kind of a new phase for me. I'm developing that skill, and that's hard for me. I've been challenged beyond belief. And you will be too, ENFJs. And all people, not just ENFJs, all people, if you allow it. Now, some people don't allow it. They take the easy route, they drop the ball. That's not really my style. I'm not that great at that. Although I am learning to drop some balls because I can't do everything. You want to ask yourself, what have I learned? Even from negative experiences, it has helped you to grow and be a better person, and it will help you in some other capacity later on in your life. You're being trained for something in your future that's important. And so it may not feel good. Our grit doesn't feel good. But we have to also learn to pivot. And that is like writing with our left hand. We can become very irritated with that. What do you do when your back is against the wall? Do you come up with your best ideas or do you come up with your worst ideas? There's no progress without opposition. So you have to keep going. And you can't let temporary things dictate permanent situations, right? And so grit also doesn't mean that you do everything. It means sometimes you navigate around things. That's an ENFJ style, and push other things forward. So grit means that you learn how to handle a variety of situations and switch gears when you have to. It's not easy for an ENFJ to pivot. They don't really like pivoting unless it's something that they're just really enjoying. It could make them have an inner temper tantrum, honestly. We have to pivot sometimes and switch things up. And just having that layer of, the pandemic around, man, that now everyone has developed something new. Most people, not everyone, most people have developed a new layer to themselves because, if you never understood, we can look at someone else who's poverty stricken. They were abused in their childhood, or they can't seem to get it together. Why can't you make minimum wage work for you? And now that we have had that pandemic, we know now what it feels like to not be able to get out of a situation that you want to get out of. We still haven't escaped it. We are doing better in some ways. I know I am. I'm more comfortable. I don't know if I should be, but I definitely feel a lot more comfortable than I used to feel. Now we all have experienced what people who are less fortunate when they meet challenges and they have to figure out how to keep living. That's what we've all had to do. So keep exercising your grit. You are more capable, ENFJs. You are far more capable than what you can imagine. So keep up the great work. Let me know any topic you want me to address, whether it's ENFJs or some other Myers-Briggs type. Let me know and I may just do it. In the meantime, I would love it if you would share my videos with people. That's how, I get more subscribers, is definitely with your support. And I thank you guys so much because you have been awesome friends along the way. And I'm very thankful for you. So check out my book. If speaking of struggles, you may have struggled in your romantic life. And so I wrote a book called Flip the Script on Love, and I would love you to check it out. It's by Tamara Hunter Zyon on Amazon. I'll check you guys later. Bye.